This idea that the women just love being mothers is the biggest cope, right? Society says, women are natural nurturers, right? And the women, they're like, but women, here's a choice to kill your kids. And the women are like, we got to kill them. We got to. Abortion, we're going to march for this. Okay. And then they're like, okay, well, I guess it's not a life. I guess. Okay, sure, ladies. And then they're like, okay, but you guys can work and save money. So in your 20s, you could save money for your kids, and then in your 30s, you can have a kid and then you have money for the kid, right? And you can stay home. And the women are like, nah, I'd rather just get Botox and liposuction and boob jobs and clothes and go to events and travel. And I would rather do that instead of saving money to have a kid, right? And I'd actually, when I have the kid, I do want to work and I want someone else to do the job. But I want the clout of the kid, so I definitely want. But it's like you can have every shred of evidence that a woman doesn't want to be a mother, but still society will say that we're like dying to be mothers. I don't think so. I really don't. I think women like the control a kid gives over like society and a man and like the attention they get from the kid. But I don't know if the moms really like love their kids. Like a dad can have a kid that hates him and he still loves the kid. But the mom, if the kid doesn't like, you get those overbearing mothers where they're like, be a doctor, be a lawyer. And if the kid doesn't do exactly what the mom wants, it's like you have hell on earth to pay. If you're having a hard time shaking off the feeling of jealousy or resentment over your nanny's special bond with your baby, it's time to address the problem and be a mom, right? We're going back to the answer and quit your job, stay home, be a mom. Now, there's real situations like poverty, right? But we're not talking about those situations. We're talking about the situations where the mom wants a 3-bedroom house instead of a 2-bedroom apartment, right? The kid's going to be happier in the small house with the mom there. But, then Tracy sees Diane lives in the suburbs with a 10, bedroom apart or house or, in the city, and she's going to these events and yada, yada. Anyways. Keep in mind that most nannies are trying hard to bond with children in their care. If they fail at this, chances are they won't remain employed for long, and they don't want to displease the parents. On the contrary, they're very interested in pleasing them. For that reason, it might be a good idea to talk to your nanny about the problem. Start by saying you're thrilled that the bond she has with the baby and you're happy that you're happy with her work, but you're fired and I'm going to be a mom now. That's how it should go, right? That's how it could go, But no. Then explain that you feel a little left out and would appreciate her helping strengthening the baby bond, right? So now this is another cope because they're trying to get the nanny to do the work of bonding with the baby. But instead, they're like, can you do it for me? Can you make the baby like me? And kids are pretty like, if a kid doesn't like you, kids love everybody. If a kid doesn't like you, something's wrong. Perhaps she can teach your child's favorite lullaby or some sort of soothing techniques only good nannies know. If your child shows a preference for the nanny more than just occasionally, it may be time to reestablish your connection with your little one. Maybe focus on your child interacting with him or her in a relaxed, comfortable setting. You may need to sing, dance, or act goofy as you work your way back into your child's heart, but he or she will eventually fall under your spell. Infant massage, increased breastfeeding, or other forms of skin-to-skin contact. If your baby continues to show a preference for the nanny, again, it may be helpful to go home. They're not going to do that, though. Get a work-from-home job, right? For example, if there is a competition between the mom and the female nanny, switching to a male nanny may be a solution. God, they just do everything to make these moms feel like they're not bad moms. They're like, okay, we're going to get a male nanny. Male nannies, also called mannies, tend to be very fun and energetic caregivers. They also may be less likely to displace mom in the baby's eyes. It's important to keep in mind that although feelings of jealousy towards your nanny may crop from time to time, this will be short-lived. Most parents whose babies love their nannies soon realize that the nanny baby strong our bond is essential to the well-being of their child. Remember that parents usually go to great lengths to find a nanny that is warm, loving, patient, and fun. What baby wouldn't want to fall in love with such a person? And when your baby does, you can pat yourself on the back for providing for your child a good caregiver. Until the caregiver goes to college and leaves and your kid is devastated.